But first up, he is the host of the podcast Mea Culpa with Micheal Cohen and author of the #1 New York Times bestseller, Disloyal, a memoir, the true story of the former personal attorney to President Donald Trump. Micheal Cohen. Wow.
Hey, Bill.
Micheal, how are you?
I'm doing okay. How you doing, Bill?
Okay, well, you got a nice applause there from our liberal crowd, so you're off to a good start.
Thank you very much. It's good to be applauded.
All right, I'll bet it is. My first question is to you, because I'm always paranoid about prison. You know, I watch prison shows, and it doesn't look good, and you were just in prison. So you're happy to be out, I'm guessing.
You would be right about that.
Yeah, and you were in Otisville, which is known as like a Jewish prison. I used to call it unleavened worth.
It's actually known as Camp Cupcake, yes.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear. What did you say?
I said it's also known as Camp Cupcake. It's, you know, we have tennis and we have basketball and baseball, but it's still prison. I don't want anybody to think that prison is fun. You know, being away from my wife and my children and my friends, it's very difficult, especially 15 months. It's not an easy ride, no matter where you're at.
Right,
and
of course.
This country really needs to start. The country really needs to start thinking about better prison reform, because I do know the president talked about it. Of course, he put the Secretary of Everything, Jared Kushner, on the job, so nothing's going to get done there either. And you know, we really do need prison reform in this country, desperately.
All right. So, and look, I know, even the best prison, you don't have your freedom, and you're cleaning toilets, and, you know, they get up when you get up when they say get up, and, you know, it's prison. It sucks. My question to you is, because you're very honest in your book, it's called Mea Culpa. You know, I mean, your show is called Mea Culpa, and your book is talking about you did bad things for Donald Trump. So I'm asking you right now, the punishment you had, do you think it was too easy for what you did, too hard, or just the right amount of punishment?
You know, that's a very tough question. It's a great question.
Thank you.
I think it was just the right amount. I mean, 15 months to be away.
One more day, it would have been too much.
Well, I did do 51 days in solitary confinement, which is not easy. You're locked in a cell that's 8 by 10. The windows were broken. It's 103 degrees with no ventilation, flies, broken glass. The bath toilets don't work. The sinks don't work. You have no access to the outside for cold water.
Wait, you're just telling me about tennis, and we had baseball, and we had, it sounded like a douche commercial, and then, okay.
Well, that was as a result of COVID.
Okay.
They put everybody into solitary confinement.
All right. So what do you think? Now, you did some bad things for Donald Trump. I mean, you paid off Stormy Daniels, and if you didn't do that, we might have heard about that before the election, and he may not be president, so that's bad. And then you say you threatened a lot of people. What do you think is what do you feel worst about that you did for Trump?
Lied to Melania, you know, about all this. It's not my right to have lied to her. I shouldn't have done it, and it's something I feel terrible about.
Wow, that's interesting to me. I see that you talked about the fact that when you were in Vegas, you said golden showers. You said this is your line, from golden showers in a sex club in Vegas to tax fraud, I wasn't just a witness, I was an active and eager participant. I thought the golden showers were in Moscow, but they were all over?
No. So what I'm referring to in the book with the golden showers, we went to a club. It's similar to the one here in New York called The Box. There were people that we were with. They're Azerbaijani. They're actually investors into it. And they were involved with the Trump Moscow Miss Universe pageant. And so they took us there. And one of the performances going on was a golden shower at the time.
Your review?
I'm so sorry. What's that?
I'm saying your review. Was it, you know, a witty ensemble, but I felt the third act fell down. I mean, what was it as golden? As golden shows go, I'm saying, was it a good one? Was it a, you know, I mean, some of them are just boring, quite frankly.
Well, this one was great. It was beautiful, perfect. There was none that was better, trust me. Trust me, there was none that was better.
All right, so you were
In fact,
certainly...
Bill, in fact, it was the greatest golden shower in the history of golden showers.
All right. All right. Trump sued me, I'm sure you know, in 2013. You were involved in so many of them, and you were his personal lawyer, involved in so many of the lawsuits. He had so many, I don't know if you could remember them all. Do you remember?
Well, how dare you? How dare you call him the spawn of an orangutan?
Yes. So were you aware of it at the time? Do you remember that lawsuit?
I was involved in it, yes.
Do you remember why he sued? I mean, it was about the orangutan. Do you remember what the lawsuit was asking for?
Yes, you're asking for proof that he wasn't the spawn of an orangutan.
No, but he sued me. What was he asking for?
For the $5 million that you offered.
You're right. Most people think it was about defamation, like you're not allowed to say. No, you can say anything about anybody. You
offered $5 million to a charity. If, in fact, we could prove that he wasn't the spawn of an orangutan, I got a copy of his birth certificate, and I sent it in as verified proof.
Correct. That is right. I made him produce his birth certificate. And he's such a fucking moron, he didn't realize that. Because, I mean, it was all a parody about him asking for Trump's birth certificate.
No, asking for Barack Obama's.
Right, I mean, Obama's birth certificate. And he proved that he wasn't, as if you could be, the son of an orangutan, and asked me for the $5 million. Yes. Okay, I'm glad we settled that. So he says, this week, he said Biden is on drugs, which to me always means he's on drugs, because whatever he accuses someone else of, he is, I think, always guilty of. He's the master projector.
Well, it's actually, we used to call it, he's the master deflector.
He what?
He's the master deflector.
Yes.
So if he says somebody is stupid, it's because he knows that he's stupid. If he says that somebody's a poor schmuck, it's because he feels like a poor schmuck.
So is he on drugs? Because he said Biden's on drugs.
No, just, allergy pills. He has terrible sinus problems. I've never seen him take drugs. He actually doesn't drink alcohol either. He's not a smoker. He's not a drug addict. He's just messed up.
Well,
some people don't have to be on drugs to be messed up. He's one of them.
Okay. Well, I bet he's watching, because he does watch the...
Hi, Donald.
He often does tweet after the show that he saw it accidentally. He watches the show accidentally all the time.
Michael was really bad on your show, Bill. You're going to get really low ratings, okay?
Exactly.
All right, he's a loser. He's an absolute loser. You shouldn't have had him on.
But
you should have Don Jr. and Eric. They're much better.
Knowing that he's watching, do you have anything you want to say to him?
Resign.
Okay. Well, okay.
Save the country from a big headache. Yep.
But I have a little... I think he is watching, and so I would like to say something to the president, because I know he hates people who are not his fans, and he said things about the blue states this week that, if you just took them out of the COVID equation, we'd be doing much better, as if our deaths don't count, and our fires here really not... It's our fault because we didn't rake. So maybe we should have to pay for it, stuff like that. But I just want to tell the president, California gave you over 4 million votes last time, Mr. President. Mississippi, Utah, Kansas, Nebraska, West Virginia, Idaho, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, Wyoming, and Alaska. You combine all those votes, not as many as the people in California who voted for you. You can't hate California because we're all living amongst each other. Okay. Just had to get that out of my system. So, Michael, what is the Svengali character of this man? What are the properties that make a person like you become a cult follower? Because you admitted you were in a cult, and you said you liked it. That makes people do that?
Well, there was, of course, don't forget the celebrity status that came with it. And along with the celebrity status came a significant amount of power. It was not a money thing, as people would like to say. It was really about the power. It was about being able to sort of do what you wanted. And what Donald Trump has the ability to do. And you see it going on right now in Washington with so many of the Republicans, including Attorney General Bill Maher and Jim Jordan and Mark Meadows. He gets them to take the worst of them and he expands upon it. So nobody does good when you're with Trump, unfortunately.
But
and
that was you for a while. I mean, would you have changed?
It sure was. It sure was.
My last question, would you have changed if he had been loyal to you? Can people change? Because you're saying your whole character has changed. Would it have if it wasn't forced upon you?
I don't know, and I probably don't think so. I was deep into that cult, really deep. And I don't think that I would have. I didn't leave because I wanted to. Right. I left because he is the most disloyal human being on the planet. In essence, I was excommunicated from the cult because he needed a scapegoat. And he needed, in order to stop the Russian collusion talk, he needed in order to stop the alleged witch hunt. And it was determined that, oh, don't worry, Michael will take a bullet for you, boss. So don't worry, let him take the ride to Otisville, right? Okay. Well, no, that's a problem because, as I said on George Stephanopoulos' program once, my wife, my daughter, my son, and my country have my first loyalty. And it really took this kick in my ass to wake me up and to see the frickin' monster that we have. And this is a horror show, folks. This is a monster that we have in the White House. He's a racist. He's a con man and so many other negative things that anybody that doesn't see this, and I say this in the book, you now have the tools to determine whether or not this is the man that you want to lead this country for another 4 years. And I suspect the answer after reading the book is a resounding no.
All right. Thank you, Michael Cohen. All right. Appreciate you coming on. And now